2, 1.
My name's Kevin Shumway, and I'm a fourth-generation uranium miner. I grew up out in this country when I was a little boy. I had a long 22, so I'd come out here and roam around and hunt all day when I was 8 or 9 years old. And then when we got about 12 or 13, when they mined this very mine we're in, we'd go out and sort the muck dumps and keep all the good ore and make a load of ore for the end of the summer. We'd sell it and make a little money. When I was a sophomore, junior in high school, when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, I'd come out to work. Well, I worked for my dad and two of my uncles. But when the inspectors would come out, and they'd come out to have them spit in a bottle so they could send the samples back to St. Louis to test them to see how their lungs were doing. And you have to be 18 to go underground. So my dad would always tell me to just get in the pickup and hide and not let them see me. And so I did that, and later on, they gave a compensation to the miners. I missed out on that because they didn't have my spit samples in St. Louis, but I guess it was worth it. When I turned 18, got out of high school, I went mining. Bought an old loader and an old shuttle car from an old miner, and a little fan, and I went mining on my own. And I mined till I was 50. The first mine I ever mined was called the, I will say Sympatical 1. And we didn't know much what we was doing. I mean, we kind of did, but so some of the uncles or our dads would come out and help us. My dad got caved in on, so he couldn't help much. He was in the hospital for 8 months, unconscious for 8 days. And they told him he'd never walk again, never get out of bed again. He ended up taking care of 500 or 600 acres of hay and 100 head of cows, and he still went ahead and was a top lander with his brothers for 30 years after that in the mine. So anyway, he just told me his advice was about all he could give me. For my family, my dad had 5 brothers, 6 of them altogether, raised in a little one-room house. They slept in the cellar, and the 6 girls slept in the house. And if it wouldn't have been for uranium, they'd have still been eating weenies out of the garbage cans. It's a good way of life. And my dad done it. All my uncles done it. All my brothers done it. My cousins done it. Where we're at right now is only 15 miles from town, and so it was a cheap way. It's shallow, and so it was a place where probably 1,000 different people have made a living out in this mine. Some of the happiest and best times of my life, for sure, was the 25 or 30 years that I mined. They're like cities. They're like living cities. The trails that go down in, you have underground trucks that are built just for these mines. They have narrow wheels where they turn circles. Everything's clean. The air's fresh. It's cool in the winter, in the summer, and warm in the winter. And everybody's doing their job. In a big mine, there's lots of activity going on. It's like a city underground, and you're completely on your own. There's nobody comes in, nobody goes out unless they work there. The saying is you're always 3 feet from $1 million, because if you happen to hit a big vein of high grade and or a big tree, you can make a ton of money in a hurry. And you can spend a ton if you don't have anything. So it was a way of life that I wouldn't trade for anything. If I could do it at my age, I'd be doing it today. And even though it's bad on your health, it creates bad lung problems in everybody that spends an amount of time in the mines, it's still something that I wouldn't trade for anything. I've got all my fingers and all my toes, and And I'm not dead yet because I wore a respirator. Most of them didn't. And so it's been a good way of life, for sure.